What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916 getting down with Fresh Out. You tuned into another dope episode. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Go to freshoutseries.com, pick up some merch, grab a limited edition Wick Splitter t-shirt. I'm here today with Jasmine, aka Vixen. You guys have been requesting that we have more women on the channel, so we're bringing it to you, getting some interesting stories. Jasmine, explain a little bit to our audience about your upbringing. You know, what are some of the things that led to you eventually, you know, getting involved with the jail system, and you know what that did to you mentally, as far as like how you were able to cope with that to kind of make yourself a better person afterwards.
Well, let me just start. A little bit of my upbringing. I am a military brat, so we moved around a lot. That kind of made it easy for us to get involved with gangs. For my oldest sibling, my brother, that's where it all started. I looked after him. I wanted to be the best Crip there was. I wanted to be exactly like my brother. I got in trouble as a youth, and then fast forward, I had my son, 18. That changed my life. Becoming a mom was everything that I wanted. And then I had traumatic experience with my kids' father, and he took my kids. And that is what led me right back to the streets.
How old were your kids when this happened?
My oldest was 7, and my youngest was 4. Well, my oldest was, 7. My youngest was 4.
So were you guys in a relationship, or married, or just dating, or?
We were in a relationship. We had been together for 10 years. It was a very abusive relationship. He was an alcoholic. It was kind of like I was a single parent, but he was just there. I wanted to do everything that I could to give my kids a 2-parent household. Whether he was an active parent or not, whether he was a partner to me or not, just that person being there, you know, for my kids to say, I have a dad, that mattered to me. Because when my parents split, I knew that feeling of not having my dad there every day, even though that love was still there. I just didn't want my kids to not have that. So things got ugly between him and I. He was upset that I wanted to take him to child support court. 9 months had passed since he's seen our kids, and it was kind of like, I need a break. I deserve this time for myself. So I went against our court order that he had supervised visits with my mom as the person that was supervising the visits, and I let him see the kids on a Tuesday when we had the child support court. So according to Kern County, that was willful abandonment. I went against the judge's order, gave my kids to him, and there was nothing that they could do. So the one time that I called the law, needed the law, I felt they did nothing for me. And from that moment, I lost my mind. Went right back to everything that I knew. And that is what led to my incarceration. From that 4-year time frame, I was incarcerated 14 times for possession, sales, GTA, assault and battery, GBI. I was an angry person. I went from being a mom, happy, my kids are my biggest accomplishments. My kids are my pride and joy, to having nothing, being alone. So, like I said, I turned to the streets. And in that, I did meet some great people. I met people like my friend Yvette, the reason that I'm here today. And it helped me to grow as a person. I felt like as a business person, I knew exactly what I needed in life. I knew exactly what I needed to do, but there were so many things that I hadn't seen in life and didn't experience. You know, you always judge someone and you look at someone and say, that can never be me. Look at this person's a low life, they're in and out of jail. And finally it gave me that perspective of, I'm not a low life, I'm not that person, you know. Shit happened to me and now I'm here. I did this to myself, no one brought me there. And it took me a minute to get that ownership, and going in and out of incarceration, I gained that ownership for myself. No one was gonna save me from that but me. No one was gonna reunite me with my children but me. I didn't have a CPS case, I didn't need reunification. I just needed to get off my ass and make better decisions. And that's literally what I did. I was able to turn my life around and make that decision in the darkest of times, mainly because I had something that I was missing a long time, and that was love. I had the love of my husband. I always had the constant love of my kids, speaking to them. It's not like I was never in their life. I just didn't know where they were. Their dad made sure to keep where they lived from me. So I wasn't sure if they were in Colorado. I wasn't sure if they were in Long Beach. I just never knew where they were. And it just, it did something to me.
So the last time you went to the county, did you have like, an epiphany, or did something say, hey, like this is a wake up call, or what was the thing that you said, after going in the county, or that last time that this is enough, I've had enough of this, because I don't want to go to prison?
Honestly, the last situation when I was in jail, I was in ADSEG for 6 months. So in and out of jail all the time. I was kind of like the entertainer. I liked to fight. I was very funny. I was likable, but not. A lot of people liked me, but they didn't at the same time. So I had this epiphany when I was sitting in ADSEG by myself. It was no longer fun going to jail. It sounds so stupid, but 13 out of those 14 times it was fun. It was entertaining. It was something to do. There was people that were accepting exactly who I was. They were broken just like me. I didn't feel as lost as I did on the streets, looking at people walking with their children or going to the park or everything that I would normally be doing. I felt like these people know me. These people understood me. But I didn't want to be understood by those people. I didn't want to be understood by lost people. So that, sitting in your cell 23 hours a day, doing nothing, listening to crazy people, yelling, that's how they treat you. There's women in there that they weren't giving showers, they're pooping in bags and sliding it under the doors and popping it at the COs. Like it was a huge wake up call, because now I'm not getting, the spreads and happy birthdays and all that love. I'm out here and in here by myself, listening to people screaming and losing their minds. And to me, that was a wake up call. That was a wake up call for me, because I was living as if I had lost my mind, and I hadn't. I was choosing to give up my mind. I was choosing to give up my knowledge. I was choosing to give up my love. I was choosing to give up my integrity. That, for me, was my wake-up call.
Wow. So just being able to have that perception and look around you and be like, you know what, this ain't me.
At all.
Yeah.
It was.
And so were you able to reunite with your kids after that, or like kind of get on a path where you can kind of redevelop that relationship, or?
Well, yeah, so like I said, I was always in contact with them. I would call them on a regular basis. Whenever their dad would answer the phone or they would have the phone, I spoke to them. And it was one Easter, I was on the phone talking to my son, Easter of 2016, and he was like, Mom, guess what? I'm going to do flag football. And I was like, oh, really? You're going to do flag football? He was like, yeah. And I said, where are you going to do flag football at? And usually his dad always had them on speakerphone. He was monitoring their conversations. Like I said, they weren't allowed to tell me what schools they went to or anything. And he goes, oh, at my school, Franklin Classical. And that moment, I Googled it. I only seen 3 of those schools, Franklin Classical, and 2 were in places where I knew he'd be. I knew he wasn't in Aurora, Colorado. So Long Beach was my best bet. And from there, my husband and I started taking the necessary steps, filed the papers, and I got my kids back. It really wasn't much effort needed, because, like I said, I wasn't an unfit mother. I didn't lose my kids. I didn't have a CPS case. It was just a battle of the X's.
Wow, so just a matter of paperwork, getting your paperwork filed. Yeah.
Right. And showing that I have stability, because once again, I was gone for 4 years, and he was almost able to use that against me. Well, look, she's been gone for 4 years. She's in and out of jail, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, but I was a financial services representative before. I had my own business. I've done this, and that. And I just, I was able, thank goodness, to have that redemption with that judge. But some people don't get that opportunity.
Your story is unique because it's the flip of the husband, or not, excuse me, the husband, the boyfriend taking the kids, because usually it's the guy saying, oh, I can't see my kids. She took my kids. The bitter
baby mama.
Yeah, she took off, and, baby mama, she tripping, and I want to be a dad, but she won't let me be a dad, and this and that. So you don't really hear this side of the story. I mean, I've seen 1 or 2 instances like where it's foreign, where the man has taken the kids and went back to Egypt or somewhere.
Yeah,
and
right.
Different country.
Right.
But I've never really heard, stories where the men locally are trying to take the kids and the woman has to fight to get her children back.
And you know what? The hardest pill to swallow about him taking my kids isn't that he took them. Because if he would have took them and provided for them exactly how they needed to be provided for and taken care of, I couldn't be upset, because I wasn't doing what I needed to be doing. So I wouldn't have been able to be upset. But that's not what he did. He took my kids and put them in a way worse space mentally, emotionally, physically. Not only did you take them from their mom, just imagine. I slept every night wondering how my kids went to sleep feeling because I know how hurtful it felt for me. I could just imagine, you know what I'm saying? That makes me emotional. It's the guilt of any parent of always making sure that emotionally your kids are straight. That's your job. I got one job. If I do nothing right on this earth, it's to make sure that the 4 people that I put here are provided for and taken care of and loved.
Yeah.
So I think that's what broke my heart the most. And like all the conversations I always had with him, I always let him know, you're gonna regret this. They're gonna end up resenting you. You know, they're gonna know the truth. They're gonna see that their mother always loved them. And they did. My kids are resilient. My kids are amazing. And I'm lucky that my redemption with them wasn't as hard as I thought it was gonna be. But if it would have been, I would have jumped over any hurdle or anything that I had to do because those are my kids.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad the story has a happy ending and you were able to get your children back and, you know, be in a loving home. For other, like, you know, women out there that are maybe dealing with something similar like that, what would you tell them as far as to give them hope?
When it comes to your kids, don't give up. There's a lot of women who give men so many chances, and that drives me crazy. And when it comes to their kids, they're willing to throw in the towel immediately. I would never give up. Never, ever give up. I don't know, you can't lose hope. I mean, there were days that I felt hopeless. There's always gonna be days where you feel hopeless on anything in life, but you just can't ever give up. That's life. You have to get up. You're gonna fall, you get your ass up.
Now, when the judge kept seeing you come back and forth to court, did you have the same judge, or did other, you know, you always have a different judge, or did they say like, man, why you keep coming back in here for stuff? I mean.
I did have the same judge a couple of times. And I mean, they were used to me. The officers were used to me. The judges were used to me. So I wasn't one of those people who tried to go in there and get less time. I hated being woken up. So the moment you take me to court, let's go ahead and figure what else you're gonna give me. I don't care, let's do arraignment. Let's come to an agreement immediately so I can sleep the rest of this off, because right now I'm detoxing and I'm gonna get out and get high. That's literally how I went in every time. Let me go ahead and do my little bit of time, because I'm gonna get out and get high. I got things waiting on me. I got things to do. I don't have time for this. So being incarcerated never really bothered me. I would look at girls, be like, oh my gosh, let me get that EMP packet, or I'm gonna go and do this program, and da-da-da. And I'm like, you got 6 months. If you don't sit down and eat these sandwiches, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be all right. And all that shit's gonna be out there in the streets. And you look at it now, and it is. If that was a life that I ever wanted to go back to, I could 30 years from now, and people are still gonna be doing the same stupid shit.
Yeah.
But that's not who I wanna be. And I mean, I have the most amazingest kids. My kids, they inspire me, they motivate me. My son, he's gonna be an electrical engineer. He's gonna be going to Cal Poly. Straight A student, just hard workers. And because that love was put back into them, when they were with their father, they had Fs, they had poor attendance, they had no interest in school, they had no goals. But the love that, when I say their father, I'm usually talking about my husband. You know, that's their dad on paper, but not genetically. And he's done more for them in the short 8 years that he's been in their life than the man that was there from the start. And it all just has to do with love. Like I said, when I say I was lost because I was without love, it wasn't because I was lost without love of a man. It was the love of my children. That was the most important love that I've ever experienced in life, the most genuine love. And when I lost that, I was hurt. I was hurt, and all I wanted to do was hurt others. I guess hurt myself, even though you don't intentionally say that. Everybody who's high loves themselves. They're so beautiful. They're so this. They're so that. You know, ego's high. But there's no way you love yourself shoving a needle in your arm.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way that I loved myself. And I couldn't have loved myself, because what made me so prideful was when people say, you're such an amazing mom. You're such an amazing, I don't care if people think I'm beautiful. I don't care if people think I'm smart. The fact that people think I'm such an amazing mom, that makes me feel like I'm the best thing on earth. Being a mom means the most to me. My children mean everything to me. So to have that moment to be reunited with my children was probably the best day of my life, to be honest with you. I don't even know. The fact that something that should have been so tangible wasn't for me. You know, it's your children. How are your children not tangible to you? That's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
But then also being in Kern County, there's a lot of women that are in and out of there. all the time. They come in pregnant, they have the baby, that baby gets taken, they don't care. So a lot of times I feel like the judge, when I would go in there, kind of looked at me as like those other women, well, we've heard so many other cases before. Do you really want your children? What are you really going to do to get them back? Like what? And I'm like, I've jumped through hurdles. I peed in cups every day just to show you guys consistently that I'm doing exactly what needs to be done, because I didn't lose my kids because of my addiction. I chose addiction because I didn't have my kids. So it's hard to tell someone, yeah, I walked away from everything that was normal, right, and good to do stupid shit.
And what was the window between the time you had lost the kids between the time you got them back?
4 years.
And then during that 4 years, were there any moments where you felt like, man, if I just clean up, I can go get my kids or this and that, or you just were kind of like dealing with the pain?
I wouldn't even say I was dealing with the pain, because when you're in your addiction, especially as a woman, as a person, a lot of people, if you give them your insecurities, your dirt, what hurts you, whenever they get mad, they're going to use that against you. So I never spoke to anyone about my children. Like, you're never going to get the opportunity to use that against me, because I don't know how I would react. I've always been a confrontational person. I'm quick to fight anyone. I don't care if you're 6 foot tall and purple. I will swing on you. It doesn't matter. So I never gave anybody the fuel to feed that fire, to allow them to hurt me, until I met my husband. That's when I started really talking about life again. I met someone that it felt normal to talk about life. You don't sit down and talk about life when you're in the trap house and like, man, I can't wait to start paying bills, and what kind of backyard do you want to have? Nobody talks about goals and aspirations and dreams and wants when they're getting high.
Yeah.
So those were the conversations that we were having, literally with needles in our arms. And that was the type of person that's like, even in our darkest place, we can find light and find some joy and find some normalcy. That's somebody that I want in my life for forever. And the same thing with a lot of people that you meet in jail. Like I said, there's a lot of people that you would think, I would never put myself in that position or be around that person, or I don't have anything in common with them. And you do. I'm sure people see me on the streets in my addiction and judged me, had no idea that I'm a wonderful mother or anything that I am, businesswoman or anything like that. So I feel like that probably needed to happen in life for me, because I had got on a higher pedestal in life where I thought I was above a lot. I was so young. I had a business. I was 23 years old doing this. I sold cars. I had a financial services company. I was very proud of myself, probably too proud, and everything happens for a reason. That reason hurt, but it built me.
Yeah. Made you a stronger person than who you are today.
Yeah.
Hey, there you guys have it. Big Herc 916. Getting down with Jasmine, a.k.a. Vixen. You tired of smelling like stanky butt, funky armpits? Wash your ass. Go to freshouseries.com and pick you up a bar of soap.